Tammy Beaumont sat back in her crease, nonchalantly threaded the ball between goalie and second slip, and with that reached the highest test score by an England women's player. It was her 26th boundary of a near-boundless innings and took down Betty Snowball's 88-year-old record of 189, scored against New Zealand at Christchurch in 1935. But Beaumont wasn't done yet. When she turned Annabelle Sutherland to fine leg and took a single to become the first Englishwoman to score a Test double century, Beaumont kept on going. Skipping towards the dressing room and thrusting her fist towards her teammates with a roar. That made her the 8th woman in history to score Test double 100. Even then, Beaumont didn't stop, whipping Talia McGrath through backward point for 4. It was to be her 27th and final boundary before she finally became the last batter out, having taken her side within 10 runs of Australia's mammoth first innings 473. When she was eventually dismissed trying to sweep Ashley Gardner only for the ball to hit the top of off stump, Beaumont stayed down on one knee and gave a shrug of the shoulders. She may have been disappointed, but her work here was done. In the meantime, McGrath, the pick of Australia's seamers with 3 for 24 from 12 overs, had dismissed Sophie Ecclestone LBW. Bowled Kate Cross for a second ball duck with a gem that nipped back and crashed into off stump, and had Lauren Filer caught behind trying to slash at one that moved away sharply on her. By stumps, Australia had forged ahead on a batting-friendly pitch, extending their lead to 92 with openers Phoebe Litchfield and Beth Mooney unbeaten on 41 and 33 respectively. With England's seam stocks already hit by a knee problem for Nat Sciver-Brunt. Kate Cross left the field to have a finger on her non-bowling hand taped after missing a difficult caught-and-bowl chance off Litchfield, on 10 at the time with Australia 31 not out. Cross returned to the field but didn't bowl again as captain Heather Knight turned to spin, including her own, to close out the day. Beaumont had displayed sublime footwork, stroke play and concentration and faced 331 deliveries over more than 8 hours for her 208, the 5th highest score in women's tests. It was her second double century in 8 days, having retired on 201 during the 3-day warm-up against Australia A in Leicester. This one came almost 2 years ago to the day after Beaumont declared she had stopped believing in form. You wonder if she believes again now. That was in response to scoring her 4th consecutive ODI half-century against India in Bristol. But this knock was a turnaround on a more difficult stretch in Beaumont's international career. She hasn't played a T20I since the last Ashes series in Australia 18 months ago, after being dropped from the squad ahead of England's home Commonwealth Games and the World Cup in February. She responded to news of her axing with a blistering one-day century against South Africa at Leicester last July, but failed to pass 33 in her 6 innings since. During India's visit last summer and the winter tour of the Caribbean, she resumed unbeaten on 100 on Saturday's third morning at Trent Bridge, having sprinted for a second run to bring up her maiden Test 100 late the previous evening. England were still 255 runs in arrears, but, after a watchful start, she and Sciver-Brunt set about eating into the deficit with a boundary-rich first session. That was after Darcy Brown thought she had Sciver-Brunt out LBW for 41 with the first ball of the day before England successfully reviewed, replay showing the ball was missing leg stump. Australia conceded just 1 run off the first 3 overs of the day, but then Beaumont picked off 3 fours and 1 Brown over, beautifully timed past mid-off,